Today, I ask rhetorical questions.
A BMW that leaks oil? I know, right?
I drop a screw into the engine bay.
Uh-oh.
And things get tight.
Almost. Oh, that's it. Finally. Oh. That wasn't pleasant at all.
What good is the Hunter Hoffman back with insane content? Another video, another BMW issue. This issue can cause catastrophic engine damage. So you better stick around! Let's do this!
I'm stuck. Alright, so what's the issue here? So there have been cases that oil leaks onto the serpentine belt, causing it to slip off the pulleys. A BMW that leaks oil? I know, right? In a worst case scenario, the serpentine belt can be sucked into the engine via the crank seal, causing catastrophic engine damage. So to prevent this, we're going to install a crank seal guard. Crank seal guards can get quite expensive, so I recommend getting one cheap from eBay. No, of course not! Only the best quality parts go on this car. Speaking of which, this is the Mallow Industries crank seal guard. Mallow Industries were kind enough to send me one of these. So this crank seal guard is made out of one piece of aluminum, and it comes with 2 stainless steel bolts and a bit of Loctite. I will also link a post down below made by F87 Source on why this one is the best one on the market. Alright, so enough with the babbling, let's do this! Alright, so the crank seal is all the way down there, so we would first need to remove the air intake and these 2 braces. While we're in there, we're also going to replace the serpentine belt. The car is 5.5 years old, so it's a good time to replace that as well. As you can see, it's a very tight space to get to the harmonic balancer where the crank seal is located. Officially, you would need to remove the fan shroud, but that would mean you would need to drain the coolants and the DCT gearbox oil lines. Since that's a huge mess and a huge hassle to do, we're going to try to do it without draining anything. So we're going to loosen things up, lift up the fan shroud as far as possible, and then see if we can do it without draining anything. Not sure if this is going to work, but we'll see what happens. So we start out by loosening the DCT oil cooler lines. Uh-oh. Oh, sh**. There it is. There it is. I mean, this only took me like 30 seconds or so. Okay, now I need to try to get a magnet up in there. Well, wish me luck. God, yes. I've got it! Look at that. Oh yeah. Alright, so where were we? Alright guys, so as there's barely anything to see for you guys, I'm just going to take you through the process. So there's a locking tab over here, which you would need to press in. There we go. And then, carefully maneuver the fan shroud up. As I told you, we're not able to remove it all together, but if we can get it as far up as possible, which is, well, here. Nope, bad idea. I'm just gonna put it back in. Okay, so that didn't work. We're gonna try it without lifting the fan shroud up. So we're gonna go ahead and remove the serpentine belt first. They say it's handy to first take a picture. Oh, right, of the serpentine belt. Alright, so after taking a picture of the serpentine belt to memorize how the belt goes around the pulleys, we're going to go ahead and loosen the tensioner pulley to remove the serpentine belt. So with a T60 and an Allen key, we're going to go ahead and loosen the tensioner. Here we go. You might want to use a breaker bar for this, as this is quite strong. Jesus, that thing is powerful. Now we're going to get the Allen key in there. Yeah, there we have it. Okay, that was quite the job. All right, so as you can see the Allen key is now holding up the tensioner, and you can see that the belt is now completely loose. So let's remove this bad boy and continue down there. You want to start with a pulley that has a smooth surface. Okay, so apparently there's this bracket you would still need to remove. So that bracket over there is the one that's still holding the belt in place. So we're going to remove that quickly and then take it out. There we go. Alright, so here we have the serpentine belt removed. So that's where the harmonic balancer is. As you can see, it's a very tight space. I have my hands in tight spaces all the time, almost every night. So yeah, this shouldn't be a problem. It's also a good time to check your pulleys. As you can hear, or not hear, they don't make any noise or grinding sounds at all. Same goes for the alternator. So what I still wanted to show you is the problem. For instance, this is where the plastic flange used to be. I now have an aluminum one. You can imagine that sometimes these plastic flanges break and cause coolant to fall onto the serpentine belt while the engine is running, causing the serpentine belt to slip off the pulleys, with the chance of being sucked into the engine all the way down there. The same goes for this oil cooler. So there's a gasket between the cylinder head and the oil cooler in here. That fills over time as well, causing oil to spill over the serpentine belt. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the harmonic balancer now and check with you in a minute. Alright guys, so this is my genius setup. Here we have a borescope looking right onto the bolts of the harmonic balancer, which are all E10 Torx bolts. Here we can get an overview of the bolts with this ratchet. I'm using a long socket so that I can reach the bolts. So yeah, let's give this a try. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so this may take some time, but I assume you get the process. So 2 down, 6 more to go. Here you can see my fingers in action. Not a lot of people get to see that, but as you can see, I'm undoing the bolt. Okay. And there we go. Now rinse and repeat. Alright, so all the bolts are now undone. Let's see if we can remove this harmonic balancer. Well, okay, that was easy. I can squeeze it right on through. This is a big boy. I think we can, so far so good. There we have it. There we have the harmonic balancer. They said it couldn't be done, but I've done the impossible. Alright, so while the harmonic balancer was out, I gave it a quick clean. And I'm also going to give the crank hub itself a good clean. Alright, so after cleaning up, let me show you the crank hub a bit better. It's not every day you get to see the crank hub of the car. There it is. So these are the bolts that need to be undone to install the crank seal guard. So let's try and do that now. Alright, so I'm not sure if you're going to see this, but I'll try and give you a clear overview of what we're going to do. So this is the contraption that I'm going to use, a long socket so that it fits over the E12 bolts. It's a very tight gap and all. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do it. Yes, it's on. Yes, it's going. Oh, there it is. That's 1. All right. And that's 2. All right, guys, so after cleaning the surface surrounding the crank hub again, it's now time to install the crank seal guard. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but I'll give you an overview in a bit. Alright, so I tried filming the installation process, but there's just not much to see. So I'm just going to take you through the process and give you an overview in a bit. So we take our crank seal guard, slide it in place, use Loctite on the supplied bolts, hand threading these in, starting with the one on the driver's side. Alright, so I'm having a bit of a hard time getting these bolts in. The clearance is very tight, my arms just don't fit in there. So I'm going to use this borescope again to get a better look. I'll upload the footage on the screen here for a bit. Sorry, that was the wrong footage. Alright, so after finally hand tightening it, I checked the clearances with a piece of paper, And I must say, it's very
Tight, yeah!
So we're gonna go ahead and torque it to spec. We're gonna use this contraption. It's important to have a small extension like this, or otherwise you won't fit in your torque wrench. The torque spec is 20 Newton meters. Start with the one on the driver's side. Ow. Oh, that was it, finally. Oh, okay, that's one. You can only make so small turns. Almost. Oh, that's it. Finally. Oh, that wasn't pleasant at all. All right, so let me show you how it looks. So yeah, that's going to be the last time we're ever going to see it, as we're now going to reinstall the harmonic balancer. Alright guys, so here we have the harmonic balancer all cleaned up. We're going to go ahead and squeeze it back into the engine bay. That's on there. So you would now need to torque it down in a certain sequence, which I will post on the screen right here. As you can see, you would have to do it in a star pattern like you would do on a wheel of a car. Having said that, we would first need to hand tighten the bolts before torquing it down to 35 Newton meters. It's not the most comfortable process. Oh, it is so tight. Usually that's a good thing, but here it isn't. Alright, so that was all of them. It was very time consuming and it was a very tight space. But as you can see, they are now all installed. So we're now going to torque them down in the sequence shown before. So yeah, wish me luck. Alright guys, so this is the contraption that we'll be using. So we have to torque it down in a star pattern at 35 Newton meters. Alright, so that didn't fit. Let's try it out with this smaller socket. Oh, for f***'s sake! Oh, for f***'s sake. Alright, so this may take some time. Alright guys, well, I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't fun to do. It took forever, you were only able to make very small turns at a time. It's very tight, my hands hurt, but we got it done in the end. So now we're gonna go ahead and install the new Serpentine belt, and then button everything up again. Alright, so as I took a picture before on how it was installed, it's now easy to install the new one. I would say it's wise to do the ribbed pulleys first, so that you can in the end slip it over the smooth pulley with less resistance. Oh, that's a tight squeeze. Well, this is a new belt already. Yes, I have it. Yes. So just make sure that all the pulleys are in the ribs. Alright, so as you can see, this is the picture of the belt. And this is the current orientation of the belt. As you can see, the ribs line up with the pulleys. Let me slightly adjust this one. Like so. So the belt looks to be seated correctly now. So it's time to loosen the tensioner and get it up to tension again. Also, here is the harmonic balancer. There we go. With all the bolts torqued down. That was terrible to do. And that's the belt under tension again. Alright guys, so here we have the end result. The belt under tension again, harmonic balancer installed, crank seal installed. So now it's time to put everything back together again. Alright, so now let's see if there are any squeaky noises or anything. Wait, let me grab a flashlight. Well, seems fine to me. Alright. So that's a job well done.
Alright, that was it. My engine is now safe and sound and ready to drive many more miles. Well, in the distant future, maybe. Anyway, I hope that was helpful for you guys. There's gonna be a small discount code in the description below, so go check it out. I want to thank Mallow Industries for sponsoring the video. I'm very grateful, and it's a great product. In the meantime, cop yourself some insane merch to help a ginger out, and hope to catch you all soon. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time!
Crank seal guards can get quite expensive, so Crank seal guards can get... Jesus. Crank seal guards can... Jezus! Zeg.